So you want to grow on Instagram, but every single time that you post, you lose followers. And now you're freaking out because you don't know what the heck to post in order to grow your account. What you want is to consistently grow every single day so that each day you wake up, you click that awesome notification button and you see that you have new followers and you can watch the growth over time. Am I right? But what's happening is doubt is starting to kick in. You're having difficulty coming up with content. It feels like nothing seems to work. And it feels like the more content you post, the more followers you lose. It's so frustrating. In this video, we are going to analyze 8 different Instagram influencers, aka Instagram experts, accounts so that we can see some of the patterns behind the scenes and what is working for people for growth on Instagram right here, right now, today. And more importantly, at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you some ideas and specific steps that you can put into play here now today in order to grow your Instagram with ease. You're creepy. Hey guys, my name is Rachel Pedersen and this is my amazing personal assistant, executive assistant, Kellyanne Cryer. I'm excited that she's here today. She's not going to contribute much to the video, but she's amazing. Over the past few years, I've had a love-hate relationship with Instagram, especially because I'm a busy mom of 3. If you're busy too, let me know in the comments. And I don't always have time for consistent photo shoots, and sometimes it can be exhausting to live up to the pressure of what everyone says is what you have to do on Instagram. Today, I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes as we analyze some of the top Instagram experts in the space and look at some of the patterns across their social media platforms, especially Instagram, in order to determine what is working here now today. Now, to keep this fair, the way that I chose these 7 experts is by searching on YouTube here for Instagram advice in 2021, and I found 7 names that continually were coming up. So we're going to dive on into each and every one of these Instagram experts profiles. So let's take a peek. By the way, let's be super clear, absolutely no shade, frustration, rude comments are going to be tolerated in this video. So if you have something nice or kind or supportive to say about these experts and creators, feel free to do it. Right now, what we're doing is analyzing patterns of content creation, uploading, and overall growth and engagement. Nothing else. So first up, we have everyone's favorite Instagram expert, and that is Vanessa Lau. I love her YouTube channel. I think that she is so great. And so one of the things that I've noticed about her account is that she consistently grows on Instagram. You'll notice that she's posting a little less than once a day. And if you post less than once a day, Social Blade actually rounds it up to 30 plus or plus 30, which is kind of funny. But you'll see she's just over about 15 or 20 pieces of new content posted per month. And what you'll notice is she's up 3,900 followers on Instagram in the past 30 days. So what this tells me, we're gonna take what I have always called the content to growth ratio. Basically, we are going to take the number of new followers, so the follower increase over the last 30 days, and divide it by the number of pieces of new content. Now, we're going to just go based on kind of what hers looks like because it's a little less than every single day, but Social Blade did round it up to 30. So we're going to go ahead and divide 3930, the number of new followers she's accumulated in the last 30 days, and divide that by the number of pieces of new content. Vanessa has a content to growth ratio of 196, which is pretty legit. This means that every time that she is posting a new piece of content, whether or not she loses a few followers in the first couple minutes or hours, she's gaining on average about 196 new followers for every piece of content that she's putting out there. That makes you kind of want to create some new content, right? Important note, not all content is great content. One of the things I love about Vanessa is that she leads in a very intention-based way, and everything that she shares is packed full of value. She serves truthfully every single day across social media. And so I will be sharing at the end of this video some of the types of content that can perform better than others in order to increase your content to growth ratio. Next up, we've got Chris Howe. And Chris Howe has a large following. I mean, huge. He's at 471,000 followers But one of the big things that I noticed, a lot of people seem to kind of take 2020 and 2021 a little more chill. There's a little less intention that's going into content creation, especially for people with already existing big followings. And I know that when it comes to content creation for me, I kind of focus on one platform at a time and the rest go in maintenance mode. So one of the things that I've noticed about Chris is that he has really high engagement on all of his content. But over the last 30 days, he's gained about 2,200 new subscribers, and it looks like he's maybe posted 3 to 5 pieces of content in the last 30 days. Let's check out his ratio. Okay, so it looks like Chris has a ratio of 450. That means every time that he posts a piece of content, he's gaining about 450 new followers after all is said and done, after those early people kind of unfollow. So because his following is larger, this makes a lot of sense to me that's why this would be a lot larger than where Vanessa's content to growth ratio is, but he has an existing user base that's larger. Next up, we're gonna take a peek behind the scenes at my Instagram profile. Okay, so over the last 30 days, I have grown by 13,140 new followers, and I've produced around 120 new pieces of content. So let's do this math and this will be fun. Now, I will tell you guys, every time that I sit back and watch the numbers after I post something, I'm always disappointed because you see the immediate dip in followers. So I try not to watch stats as soon as I post something. Okay, 109. Every time I post a new piece of content, I'm gaining about 109 new followers, which makes sense why I'm growing by 12,000, 13,000, even some months as many as 22,000. One of the big things for me though is really being consistent with pumping out high quality content. And with this incentivizes me, motivates me to put out more quality content, that's for sure. Next up, we've got Millie, Modern Millie. I love her YouTube videos. I think that she's great and super positive. Over the last 30 days, she's gained 1,410 new followers, and it looks like she's pumped out maybe 5 to 8 different pieces of content. So we'll go with like 7 because that's a really good even number. So her content to growth ratio is 201, meaning every time that she posts a piece of content, she's gaining about 200 followers, which is really exciting. Next up, we have the first profile that ever sparked my love and interest for growth on social media, and that is Founder Magazine. I actually, fun fact, had the privilege of interviewing Nathan Chan on my podcast very, very early when I was still like a baby. I was so nervous I couldn't even talk to him. That is still available on the early days of my podcast on Social Media Secrets. It used to be called The Rachel Pedersen Show. Okay, so Nathan is, I'm not surprised, crushing it on Instagram, considering especially he was one of the original people who taught how to crush it on Instagram. And it looks like in the last 30 days, he's gained 63,000 followers. Now, a couple things that are important to note, and I noticed this and I want you to notice this as well. He has a significantly larger following than anyone else we're talking about today. He has over 3 million followers on Founder Magazine. While his engagement rate is lower, when you're at those types of followings, it's okay. Like, that is a very natural part of the process of growth to lose kind of that engagement ratio. I wouldn't be complaining about 6,400 people liking every single post. It's a great stat. So let's see. We've got 63,060 divided by, wow, he's created 330 pieces of content over the last 30 days. That's a ton. I have to say, they probably have a full-time content team whipping these out left and right, nonstop. I'm blown away. That is a ton of content. And their content to growth ratio is 191. So every time that they're posting, they're gaining about 191 followers, which is probably why they're pumping out so much content, because most people's growth ratio is between 100 and 500, which means every time that you post, even if it seems like you're initially losing followers, you gain followers over the course of the next couple days, weeks, or even months, especially with IG Reels. Nathan Chan, I don't know if you'll see this, but well done. You've continued to grow. It's amazing. Next up, we have Josh Ryan. So Josh Ryan, fun fact, we actually have collaborated on some projects in the past, and he's so nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at his stats. So it looks like over the last 30 days, he's grown by 90 followers, but also keep in mind that 90 followers is a decent amount of growth for having 11,000 followers. Like, that's incrementally great growth. He also does have very high engagement rates, almost 9%. That's almost unheard of. I will say that's difficult to replicate as your following gets bigger, but I'm pretty impressed with those engagement rates, but not super surprised. 90 new followers over the last 30 days, and it looks like he's maybe put out a piece of content. We'll go ahead and just say there's maybe been one piece of content in the last 30 days. So his content to growth ratio is about 90. I would love to see Josh put out some more content here, but I think he's been focusing a lot on YouTube lately. Next up, we have B Zimmerman, who has been teaching Instagram before I even knew that entrepreneurship was a thing. We've got to throw some mad respect out there for B Zimmerman. Okay, so let's take a peek here real fast. Over the last 30 days, she's gained 840 followers. And if we divide that, it looks like it might average out to almost 30 pieces of content per month. I'm gonna guess that's about 20. So we'll go with 20. And her content to growth ratio is 42, which means that every time she posts a piece of content, she's gaining about 42 followers. One of the big takeaways as I study patterns of successful people on Instagram is that this content to growth ratio is for most people going to be between 100 and 500, sometimes a little bit more depending on who you are and the type of content that you put out there. But for most of us, the rule of thumb is going to be creating more content, generally speaking, is going to bring us more followers. So let's dive on into those Instagram tips for major growth. I'm going to touch on a few of these, and if you want me to talk more about them, share in the comments below what you'd like for me to expand on. First up, I know recently Instagram said to only use 8 to 15 hashtags, but I'm still seeing success with using 30 hashtags, so I'm not going to comment on the number of hashtags yet until we try and do like a side-by-side comparison, but I will say this, niche down hashtags work. They work over and over and over again. I like to use flick.tech to get niche down hashtags based on every single piece of content that I create for Instagram. Number 2, create shareable content that makes others feel important and allows others to see themselves in your journey. This is something we started doing recently, and I know a lot of people are going to sleep on this method, but we started adding a quote to the beginning of my content that's about me. And so, for example, I shared a story about being a single mom, but before sharing the carousel of pictures of me, I shared a quote that anyone could share. So it says, "Rock bottom will teach you lessons that mountaintops never will," by Unknown. And that post, while it has 3,100 likes, I stand corrected, 3,106. There are 327 shares of that post, which means that we took something that's about me and my life and allowed others to see themselves in it simply by adding that quote at the beginning of the carousel. Instagram tip number 3, I've kind of noticed that the sweet spot for growth, generally speaking for most people, is between 3 and 5 posts per day. But I will tell you, it kind of seems like right now there is not a ton of diminishing returns on Instagram, meaning companies like Founder, even myself, Boss Babe, I've noticed that many of us who post a lot more content tend to reap the rewards of that for a lot longer, especially with the invention of Reels, which brings me to tip number 4, try to make as much of your content Reels-based as possible. Instagram is trying to compete with TikTok, Triller, Snapchat, and even YouTube Shorts, which was recently introduced, and one of their best chances for doing that is by having a successful ecosystem with Reels. So get your Reels out there. They're intentionally promoting them. I could keep going all day, but ask your specific questions about Instagram growth in the comments beneath this video. I will catch you guys later. Bye for now. 8 Instagram experts that we're going to analyze is by searching on, oh, it's not 8. I'm sad. Did I say 8? I meant 7. How baller is this? Isn't that cool? I'm super excited. Okay.